Welcome to Subramani. If you have been wondering why I have not been appearing on any TV channels for a long time, it's because they've not been calling me. It's as simple as that. No, but jokes apart, I find it very difficult to answer very simple questions like how should a senior citizen invest? I mean, it's so vague because typically I would think it is the arrogance of the young person who's maybe in his or her 20s or 30s who think this question is a fair question. Now, who is a senior citizen? 55 is senior citizen, 60 is senior citizen, 90 is senior citizen, because the answer differs from person to person. How a 55-year-old should invest and how a 85-year-old should invest, or how a 93-year-old should invest, obviously answer is very different. So there is nothing called senior citizen. It is like saying how should a young person invest. Young person means what? 18 and living on a stipend, 22 and just started earning, 32 having a wife and kid, or maybe wife and a kid in the wife is pregnant and husband and wife, supporting a parent, not supporting a parent. The answer can be so different for each person. So typically, how should a senior citizen invest? The answer in India seems to be every senior citizen should put money in senior citizen savings scheme and Varishta Bima Yojana, because now the rates are very good. It is 8.5% or 8.15%. To me, the answer is it depends. I mean, somebody who has got a good equity portfolio and earning about 10 lakhs as dividend does not need to do any of such stuff. They're happy. I'm keeping some money in bank fixed deposits, which is for liquidity, and the remaining money is in equity. So what if the person is 85? So what if the person is 92? It doesn't really matter. So there is no one single answer as to how a senior citizen should invest. So you have to break it up and say, okay, how should a 60-year-old invest? Again, a 60-year-old who has given up the job and who has got no other income. When I say senior citizen, I mean a person who has no earned income, no fees to be received, no for past work done, no nothing, right? Absolutely zero, not working, not doing anything, completely living off the portfolio. That person is very different from a 60-year-old doctor who is still practicing, right? Or a person who is saying, I'm 60, I've retired, but I'm on the board of 3 companies and each of those companies pay me 20 lakhs as sitting fees. So if you have 60 lakhs of income and your annual expenses are 10 lakhs, then where is the question? This is not yet a senior citizen. A senior citizen in my mind is a definition of a person. When I say a senior citizen, I mean a person, it does not matter what is that person's age, whose income has stopped, who is not on the board of companies, who is not a consultant, who is not doing lectures, nothing, has zero income from activity, and therefore completely depend on the portfolio income, which could be rent, which could be interest, which could be dividend, it could be any of those things. So just dependent on portfolio income. That person also depends on the size of the portfolio. If the person has annual expense needs of say 10 lakhs but has a dividend income of something like 50 lakhs, that person does not have to bother too much about asset allocation also. His equity fund should do his equity portfolio. When I'm talking of dividend, I mean equity dividend, not equity mutual fund dividend. That if it is 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the requirement that he or she has, they don't need to bother much even about their asset allocation. But a 70-year-old who has got 70 lakhs and who's got annual expenses of 5-6 lakhs needs to be worried, because if they get 8% return, they're getting about 6 lakhs, which is just about good. But next year it may not be too good. And what happens if suddenly there is a COVID and 20 lakhs is lost to that, or 30 lakhs is lost to that, or they have to have somebody to look after, or I mean they have a nurse, and a nurse costs about a lakh of rupees a month, right? What happens if those costs are there? So the answer can be very different for different people. Therefore it is very difficult to answer questions like where should a senior citizen invest. Honestly, I don't have an answer. I can only answer if you say this person's name is Anusha, she is 78 years of age, she is bedridden, she's got somebody taking care of her, her husband is no more, and she's got 5 crores. Where should she invest? Can she sign? Answer is yes, she can sign. She's bedridden, but she can walk around the house, she cannot go out, so some of those things she can do. She can sign, her faculties are perfectly all right. but there is somebody to look after her on a full-time basis, she does not have children, then how should she handle her money can be very different from another person called Anusha, who is 75 years of age or 78 years of age, who goes on a trek, who cooks, who has 2 children, one in US, one in Australia. Physically they are not available, but she just goes around the country, she travels on her own, she can book her own taxi, she can book her own flight, she is a very active person. So this person can be very differently, can be investing very differently from the earlier Anusha who is bedridden, right? There are no easy answers and no answers which can be given on television which is generic. The questions have to be far more specific. What are the avenues for investing for senior citizens? Obviously, I am supposed to say senior citizen savings scheme and Pradhan Mantri Varishta Bima Yojana. Both are things which my mother has not invested at all, right? Her dividend income is greater than 7 lakhs, or her share trading income is more than 7 lakhs. So how does it matter? Anyway, you're going to pay tax. You might as well pay tax from wherever, whether it is dividend or whether it is equity trading. Does she need these things? Answer is no. So the question is, what are the options which are available and who should exercise them? If you have got, say, 2 crores or 3 crores, then maybe SCSS and PMVYY are all very important. But if you have something like, say, 10 crores to invest, or 12 crores or 15 crores as your net worth, do you want to create one more 30 lakh dabba from where you will get annual interest? There will be TDS and that has to be kept track of. I would think no, right? So, but yes, for somebody with lesser amount, it's a good investment. Somebody with a bigger total net worth, it makes no sense. So there is no, what are the options available? Yes, of course, I will have to list out SCSS and Pradhan Mantri Varishta Bima Yojana. But is it necessary that everybody should take it? Answer is no. I wouldn't take it if my net worth was 10 crores plus. And I would take it if my net worth was 3 crores or below 4 crores. I would definitely take it, right? Even something like 5-6 crores, I would take it. I would do it very smartly, that I would have accumulated money in my name and my wife's name, so that both of us can take it, so that the overall income remains less than 7 lakhs for each one of us. So therefore our taxable income is very close to nil, or maybe I am at the 10-15% slab, I am not at the 30% slab. So maybe I would do that. But for somebody with a much bigger portfolio, a lower dividend yield makes sense, because you will have to pay less tax. Of course, after you die, your children will inherit and they will pay tax. At some stage you will pay tax, but tax to be paid in 2052 is not the same as the tax to be paid in 2022 or 2023, right? So the question is, can you defer the tax? It makes more sense to defer the tax. So what options are available? Many options are available. What should you choose? Please ask your investment advisor. Don't try doing it on your own in old age, and don't be hurt so badly that you have no time to recover. Thank you. Is safety the only thing that senior citizens look for in their portfolio? The answer is yes, it's very important. So I have always said that there are 3 important things to look for while investing. It is safety, it is liquidity, and what return you get. So this ratio will keep changing. So if you are young, if you are 22, then again you really don't need too much of return, because you don't have too much of amount. Let's say you are 23 years of age and you have been investing 5,000 rupees a month. So on 60,000 rupees, what rate of return that you get should not be very important. So R is not very important when you're 22. Safety is very important, because you're still learning. You don't want to lose money. Of course, even if you lose money, the amount of money that you will lose is going to be significantly high for you, but it's not going to be a big amount anyway. The most important thing for a 22-year-old, the most important ratio that he or she should be looking for is, what is the ratio of my income that I am able to save and invest? That is a far more important question than saying, is my money giving a good return? But as time goes by, there are 3 things. As you get older, maybe 50 plus, or maybe 50 plus, you're definitely looking for return, because now your corpus has grown. Maybe it is 4 crores corpus or 5 crores corpus. Return is important. Liquidity is important. In case something happens, you could have an emergency, you could any of those things. So you need some liquidity, and of course you need safety, but you need returns also. What happens when you're 70, 75 plus? Now the same SL and R. First you need liquidity, right? It's very important that you need liquidity, not with all your money, but for a big portion of your money, because medical emergency is not covered by insurance. Having to pay those kind of expenses which are not which you didn't know that will come, right? Paying for all that. So liquidity is important, of course safety is important, and R goes to the third position, saying so it is going to be L, S and R, or S, L and R, doesn't really matter, but safety is very important, because not because you are old or anything, but because you do not know how much time you have to recover the losses which you make. So in equity markets, when you lose money, it could take 10 years for your money to be recovered. So if you are 85, do you want to take a chance that you will be around till 95? So the question is, you want to be in less volatile assets, which is how we define as safety. Safety means there should be no permanent loss, and at 85 there should not be any temporary loss also, because you don't have the time to wait for it to be recovered. So S, L and R are important for every one of us. The question is, at what age, what is more important? It is not to say that